At the graduation ceremony, joyful cheers filled the hall until one arrogant, wealthy girl turned it into a nightmare. Before hundreds, she humiliated her black classmate with a slap, unaware of the truth that would unravel her. When the father stood, the entire crowd gasped. What happened next left everyone stunned. Before we dive in, share in the comments what time it is and where you're watching from. Let's begin. The auditorium roared with applause as names echoed one by one. Caps danced, tassels swayed, and families shouted with pride. It was meant to be a day of celebration. But for Emma Clark, every cheer for another graduate felt like a dagger to her ego. She sat tall in her sleek black gown, golden curls pinned perfectly, her sapphire bracelet gleaming under stage lights. Her eyes, however, were fixed sharply on one person, Lily Turner, the black girl from the city's outskirts. Lily, who juggled late-night shifts at the bookstore and waitressing on weekends, had not only kept up with Emma, but surpassed her. Lily hadn't just graduated. She'd earned highest honors, a prize Emma had dreamed of since freshman year. "They're really giving her the medal," Emma hissed under her breath, lips twisting in disdain. The girl beside her, another graduate, shifted uncomfortably but stayed silent. No one dared challenge Emma's wrath. When Lily's name was called, she rose, her cap's tassel brushing her cheek. She walked to the stage with steady steps, eyes wide with disbelief, lips pressed as if anchoring her emotions. Years of sacrifice, whispered insults in hallways, professors doubting her because of her background, had led to this moment. It was hers. But Emma had other plans. As Lily shook the dean's hand, accepting her award, Emma's breathing grew rapid, her heart pounding with envy. Cheers erupted, phones lit up to capture the scene, and families clapped with pride. In that moment, Emma's jealousy twisted into something dark. "She doesn't deserve it," she muttered louder, her voice sharp. "She's a fraud, a charity case. That honor should be mine." Heads turned, catching her bitter words, but Emma didn't care. The applause only deepened her sense of invisibility, fueling her rage. As Lily stepped down from the stage, clutching her diploma, Emma rose to her feet. The crowd fell into a tense hush, sensing trouble. Lily paused, startled, as Emma blocked her path. "You think this belongs to you?" Emma spat, her face contorted with fury. "You think you're above me?" Lily froze, her fingers tightening around her diploma folder. Her lips parted, but no words came, her throat tight with shock. Hundreds of eyes watched, professors shifting in their seats, classmates whispering in disbelief. "Emma, stop!" A voice from the aisle pleaded softly, urgent but ignored. Emma stepped closer, her voice slicing through the silence. "You're nothing without this school's handouts. Just a pity project dressed in a gown." Lily's face paled, her eyes glistening. "That's not true," she whispered, her voice trembling with hurt. "I worked for this." "Worked?" Emma's laugh was sharp, dripping with scorn. "Do you know how hard I worked? The pressure of my family's legacy. My father donated more to this university than you'll ever earn, and still they hand my award to you." Her voice cracked, raw with fury. Then, without hesitation, she raised her hand. The slap echoed like a whip, sharp and cruel. Gasps tore through the hall. Some students cried out, others froze. Lily's head snapped sideways, her hand flying to her stinging cheek. She blinked rapidly, tears welling, staring at Emma in stunned disbelief. Emma stood over her, chest heaving, her eyes blazing. "Know your place," she snarled, her voice thick with venom. For a moment, silence gripped the room, broken only by the faint rustle of gowns as people shifted in shock. A professor halfway rose from his chair, uncertain. Parents covered their mouths, horrified. Dozens of cameras caught the moment, flashes searing it into memory. Lily's lips trembled, her heart pounding as she fought to speak, to defend herself. But the humiliation struck deeper than the physical pain, a wound that burned her soul. Her cheek throbbed, her vision blurred with tears. She glanced at the crowd. Hundreds of eyes either darted away in shame or stared in horror. Emma sneered, basking in the silence she'd created. She leaned closer, her voice a venomous whisper only Lily could hear. "You'll never truly belong here." "No medal changes that." Tears slid down Lily's cheek, each one a silent cry of pain. She gripped her diploma tighter, her hands shaking, struggling to steady her breath. Every fiber of her wanted to collapse, to run from the spotlight, but she stood frozen, her body trembling with raw emotion. Behind them, murmurs grew louder, a ripple of disbelief spreading through the crowd. Did she just... in front of everyone? A young woman in the second row whispered, her voice shaking. Why didn't anyone stop her? Her classmate replied, voice low. Because it's Emma. She always gets away with everything. Emma adjusted her gown, her smirk radiating pride, as if she'd reclaimed the spotlight she believed was stolen. She turned slightly, ready to bask in her moment. But then a voice rang out, not loud but firm and commanding, a man's voice cutting through the tension. Heads turned toward the faculty section, where a distinguished figure rose slowly, his eyes locked on the scene with unwavering intensity. Lily's trembling eyes widened. It was her father, and Emma had no idea who he was. You dare lay a hand on my daughter? He said, his voice steady but laced with restrained anger. Gasps spread like wildfire through the hall. Professors exchanged stunned glances. Students craned their necks, leaning forward in their seats. Lily's breath caught in her throat, her heart racing as she clutched her diploma tighter, whispering, Dad! Emma blinked, her confidence shaken for the first time that afternoon, her smirk faltering. Your daughter? She stammered, her voice unsteady, her bravado crumbling. The man nodded once, his presence commanding. Lily Turner is my child, and I am Robert Turner, CEO of this university's alumni office. The name landed like a thunderclap. Murmurs erupted across the hall. Everyone knew the alumni office. It oversaw scholarships, alumni relations, major donations, and the networks that shaped graduates' careers. This wasn't just any father. He was a powerhouse tied to the university's core. Emma's jaw dropped, her eyes darting to the stunned faces around her, then back to him. I didn't know, she stuttered, her voice barely audible, her boldness draining away. That much is clear, Mr. Turner said coldly, his gaze shifting to his daughter. Lily's cheek still bore the red mark of the slap, her eyes glassy with unshed tears, reflecting both pain and resilience. You humiliated her publicly, tried to strip her dignity before everyone. You thought you could. Emma's voice cracked, her words faltering. But she doesn't even... Doesn't even what? Mr. Turner snapped, his tone sharp. Doesn't look like you? Doesn't come from your world of privilege? Emma's lips trembled, her composure shattered. For once, words failed her completely. Lily inhaled shakily, her chest tight with emotion. Her father's tone softened, his eyes warm as he turned to her. Tell them, Lily, why you worked those late-night jobs. Why you fought through every obstacle to earn this degree, even though I could have eased your path. Lily hesitated, the weight of hundreds of eyes pressing down on her. Then she lifted her chin, her voice trembling but resolute. Because I wanted to earn it myself. My father taught me that respect isn't bought with money or position. I worked to prove I belong here. Every paper, every exam, every sleepless night, I earned this. Not through favors, not through family ties. Through my own sweat and determination. The crowd stirred, a wave of admiration rippling through. Professors nodded subtly, their respect evident. Students looked at her anew, not as the quiet girl from the bookstore, but as a fighter who'd earned her place with unwavering integrity. Emma shook her head furiously, desperation creeping into her voice. You're lying. If he's your father, why didn't you flaunt it? Why pretend to be one of us when you had power all along? Lily's eyes locked onto hers, steady and unyielding. Because I don't need to flaunt anything. And like you, I don't hide behind my father's name. I stand on my own. The words struck harder than the slap had, piercing through Emma's arrogance. Murmurs swelled into agreement. She's right, a voice from the crowd muttered. She earned it. We all saw it, another added, their voices carrying a newfound respect. Mr. Turner straightened, his voice resonating across the hall with authority. This university is built on principles of hard work, equality, and respect. Emma Clark, you have shown none of those values today. Instead, you've displayed arrogance, cruelty, and entitlement. Emma's face flushed crimson, her hands trembling. Please, she whispered desperately, her voice breaking. My family has given so much money, and that, Mr. Turner interrupted sharply, is exactly the problem. You think wealth excuses character. It doesn't. Your behavior today will follow you. Alumni networks remember integrity, not arrogance. You've disgraced yourself and your family's name. The crowd buzzed again. Some gasped, others nodded in agreement. Emma's eyes darted wildly, searching for any ally, but no one moved. Even her closest friends averted their gazes, unwilling to defend her. Lily wiped a tear from her cheek, her voice softer now, tinged with both pain and strength. I didn't want this scene. I only wanted to celebrate with my classmates. But if this is what it took for the truth to shine, so be it. Silence fell, heavy with meaning. As the weight of her words settled over the room, Mr. Turner placed a steady hand on his daughter's shoulder, his expression a mix of pride and sorrow. You've proven everything I ever hoped, Lily, not to me, but to them, and most importantly, to yourself. Applause began quietly, one clap, then another. Within seconds, the hall erupted. Students rose to their feet, parents stood, professors joined in. The ovation shook the walls, a powerful wave of support. Emma staggered back, pale and shaken, drowned in the sound of triumph that wasn't hers. Lily lowered her eyes, humbled yet overwhelmed. Feeling truly seen for the first time in years, Mr. Turner faced the crowd, then Emma, his final words cutting through the applause. Let today be remembered, not for her cruelty, but for my daughter's strength. With that, Lily stepped forward, her father beside her. The hall still thundering with cheers as Emma slumped into her seat. Forgotten, what would you have done if you witnessed this? Should wealth and privilege decide who deserves respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more powerful true-to-life stories, and share it so others never forget this lesson. Lily's journey to this moment had begun years earlier, in a small apartment where she and her father shared quiet dreams. She'd grown up watching him work tirelessly, not just as a university leader, but as a man who valued effort over entitlement. Never let anyone hand you success, he'd told her, his voice warm but firm. Those words had shaped her, pushing her to take the harder path. While her peers leaned on family wealth or connections, Lily chose to forge her own way. Late nights at the bookstore, early mornings studying, weekends serving tables, each moment was a step toward proving she belonged. Her classmates often overlooked her, assuming she was just another struggling student. But Lily knew her worth, even when others didn't. Emma, meanwhile, had coasted on her family's name. Her father's donations had opened doors, but they couldn't buy her the respect she craved. She'd watched Lily's rise with growing resentment, her pride wounded by someone she deemed lesser. The graduation stage was her final chance to assert dominance, to reclaim what she felt was stolen. But her actions only exposed her flaws, her insecurity laid bare for all to see. The crowd's reaction, shifting from shock to support for Lily, marked a turning point. Students who'd once ignored Lily now clapped for her, their applause a testament to her resilience. The aftermath lingered in the hall. Whispers of Emma's outburst spread, while Lily's quiet strength became the story people remembered. Professors approached her later, offering words of admiration. Classmates who'd never spoken to her before now smiled, some even apologizing for their silence. Lily didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Her victory was in her integrity, in the diploma she'd earned through years of grit. Emma, meanwhile, faced a reckoning. Her family's wealth couldn't shield her from the consequences of her actions. The alumni network, once a safety net, now buzzed with talk of her disgrace. This story isn't just about a moment of cruelty, it's about the power of standing tall, no matter the odds. Lily's triumph reminds us that respect is earned through effort, not bought with privilege. What lessons did you take from this? Share below, and let's keep this conversation going.